Imagine someone in your life right now, someone you think you know. But what if they've been hiding something? When it comes to hidden feelings, words often lie, but the face doesn't. Micro-expressions are the tiny, involuntary facial movements that flash across a person's face for just a fraction of a second. They are instinctive and honest reactions that reflect true emotions, even when someone is trying to conceal them. These split-second expressions often reveal what a person is really feeling deep down before the brain has time to filter or hide it. Let's say someone secretly has a crush on you. They're doing their best to stay calm, cool, and collected. But the moment you walk into the room, before they even realize it, the corners of their mouth twitch upward into a brief smile. Their eyes widen ever so slightly, maybe even sparkle for a second. It happens fast, so fast that if you're not paying attention, you'll miss it. But that's where the truth lies, in the flicker, not the pose. You might notice that when you unexpectedly show up, they look genuinely surprised, not in a startled way, but in that wide-eyed, internal, wow kind of way. That's a micro-expression of excitement and delight. It's not calculated. It's raw. They're happy to see you, and their face gives it away before their mind catches up to tell them to play it cool. What makes micro-expressions so compelling is that they bypass social filters. Most people are very aware of how they want to appear. They rehearse their smiles, tone down their reactions, or pretend not to care. But the muscles in the face move faster than those intentions. It takes just 1/25th of a second for a genuine emotion to flash across the face. That's faster than most people can fake or mask, and that's exactly why micro-expressions are so revealing. Let's get even more specific. Watch the eyes. When someone sees a person they're attracted to, their pupils often dilate automatically. It's a biological reaction to seeing something or someone they like. You'll also see a slight upward movement in the cheeks or a subtle crinkling near the eyes, which only happens with genuine smiles. Fake smiles stop at the mouth. Real ones engage the entire face, even if only briefly. There's also the micro-freeze, a subtle pause or moment of stillness that can happen when someone is caught off guard by strong emotion. You walk in, and for just half a second, they freeze. It's like the system needs to reboot. That's their internal reaction, betraying how much your presence affects them. These moments aren't loud. They don't come with music or flashing lights. They're quiet, involuntary, and easy to overlook. But if you pay attention, if you really look, you'll see that the truth isn't in what people say. It's in what they can't help but show, because even the best-kept secret crush can't outsmart the face. When someone secretly has a crush on you, their brain starts treating your words like gold. Not just the important stuff, everything. They remember the tiniest, most random things you say, things even you forget you mentioned. It's not intentional, and they might not even realize they're doing it. But when someone is emotionally invested, their memory becomes laser-focused on you. You might casually mention that your favorite candy is sour gummy worms. A week later, they hand you a bag. You told them once that you hate pineapple on pizza, and now they always make sure to ask before ordering. These aren't grand gestures. They're subtle, consistent, and strangely precise. It's like they're collecting puzzle pieces about you and storing them in a mental vault. Why? Because when people really care, they remember. It goes deeper than just facts. They'll remember the way you laughed at a specific joke, or that you mentioned your dog gets anxious during thunderstorms. You might be shocked by how much they recall. Wait, how did you know that? You'll ask. They'll probably play it off like it's no big deal. But it is, because it means they were listening. Not just hearing, but actually paying attention with intention. This hyper-awareness doesn't come from obligation or politeness. It comes from fascination. When someone secretly likes you, every interaction becomes a moment they subconsciously want to hold on to. Your words don't just pass through their ears, they stick. And even more, they matter. It's also about emotional memory. You might tell them a story about something that made you sad as a kid. 3 weeks later, when something similar comes up, they'll tread lightly or bring it up gently with surprising sensitivity. That's not coincidence. That's emotional alignment. They're remembering not just what you said, but how it made you feel. Even more telling is when they reference something you said without realizing how obscure or minor it was. You might say offhandedly, "I hate mornings," and they start texting you funny memes at noon instead of 8, and you never told them to do that. They just adjusted to your rhythm because they remembered something most people would dismiss. Sometimes this attentiveness shows up in how they talk about you to others. You overhear them mention your favorite musician in a conversation you didn't think they cared about, or a friend tells you, they always bring you up like little things you've said. That's the memory in action again. It's not performative, it's instinctual. Ultimately, remembering small details is one of the most genuine signs someone is emotionally connected to you. It's not about impressing you or winning you over. It's about the fact that to them you're unforgettable. Even your smallest words leave an imprint, and they're quietly holding on to every one. When someone has a secret crush on you, they might be good at hiding it, but their friends usually aren't. In fact, one of the clearest signs someone likes you can be found not in their behavior, but in how their friends act when you're around. It's almost like their friend group becomes a secret fan club with absolutely zero training in subtlety. You walk into the room and suddenly there's a shift. Whispering stops. People glance your way, then quickly look away. Some smirk. Others nudge the person who likes you. One or two might just outright grin like they know something you don't. It's not random. It's not just friendly behavior. It's the awkward energy of people who are holding onto a secret and doing a terrible job of pretending they're not. Friends often know about a crush long before the person admits it publicly or even to themselves. That's because crushes don't stay hidden for long within close circles. Whether through a late-night confession, a text thread, or just noticeable behavior, the truth leaks out. Once it does, the dynamic around you changes. Suddenly, you're not just you anymore. You're the person they like, and everyone knows it. So what does that weird behavior actually look like? Sometimes it's teasing. You might notice them joking around or throwing glances between you and the person who likes you. They might say things like, "Oh, look who's here," in a tone that feels loaded with inside meaning. Or they get quiet and start watching how the person with a crush responds to you. That silence isn't accidental, it's surveillance. They're waiting to see if something happens. Other times, friends act overly enthusiastic. Too much interest, too much energy. You show up and suddenly it's, "You should totally hang out with us," or "We were just talking about you." But the enthusiasm doesn't feel organic, it feels rehearsed. Like they've practiced what to say in case you suddenly walked into the room. Because in their minds, you're already part of a storyline. There's also the accidental slip-ups. Someone blurts out, "Didn't you say you liked?" and then quickly shuts up. Or you catch a friend giving a knowing look when your name is mentioned. Those moments reveal more than any formal confession ever could. It's the energy of people trying to act normal when they absolutely are not. What makes this even more revealing is how consistent it becomes. If it happened once, maybe it was just a moment. But if it keeps happening, if every time you show up, their group gets weird, it's a pattern. And patterns tell stories. At the end of the day, it's hard to control a group dynamic. One person might hide their feelings well, but their friends, their reactions, awkward silences, and subtle grins usually say it all. They're not just reacting to you, they're reacting to the crush you don't know you're a part of. And that's where the real truth often leaks out. When someone secretly has a crush on you, distance becomes their quiet enemy and proximity their silent goal. But they won't say it out loud. Instead, they'll find reasons, however small or seemingly random, to be around you. They don't always know they're doing it. To them, it feels natural, harmless, just one more coincidence. But to an outside observer, it's anything but. Think about it. You start noticing them in places you don't expect. They happen to show up at the same party, even though you're not that close. They're at the cafe you go to, the bookstore you mentioned once, or the gym at the exact time you're usually there. They might say things like, "Oh, hey, I didn't know you'd be here." But the truth is, of course, they did. Maybe not always consciously. Maybe they're just hoping to see you. But that hope often turns into quiet strategy. It's not just public spaces either. At work or school, they sit near you when there are plenty of open seats elsewhere. They linger when you're packing up. They hang back after class or during lunch, suddenly needing help with something or wanting to talk about a topic that doesn't really need a conversation. Every excuse becomes a thread pulling them closer to your orbit. Some of the excuses are laughably thin. They ask for help with something they're clearly capable of doing on their own. They borrow something simple just so they have a reason to come back. They start watching the same shows you watch, following the same influencers, or getting into your favorite music and somehow always manage to bring it up in conversation. It's not random. It's targeted closeness. And when they can't physically be near you, they find digital ways to stay close. They reply to your stories with emojis, send memes they think you'll like, or casually start conversations out of nowhere. But it's not the meme that matters. It's the connection. It's the window to interaction. Watch how they behave in group settings. They might not make a beeline for you, but they always end up near you. Not necessarily right next to you, but within arm's reach. Close enough to be part of your space. Close enough to be noticed. It's subtle, strategic, and usually fueled by hope. This constant, quiet pursuit of proximity is more than just friendliness. It's emotional gravity. They're pulled toward you again and again, and they don't even need a reason. They'll invent one. Because being near you feels good, safe, exciting, and full of potential, even if nothing happens. And though they may pretend it's casual, even random, there's nothing accidental about wanting to be where you are. They might never say it. They might never act on it. But if someone keeps showing up again and again for no real reason, that is the reason. When someone has a hidden crush on you, their body often speaks before their brain catches up. One of the most telling signs is unconscious mirroring, when they subtly imitate your actions, gestures, posture, or even speech patterns without realizing it. It's not planned, it's not manipulative, it's psychological, and it's one of the clearest, most instinctive indicators of emotional connection. Mirroring is a social behavior wired deep into our brains. We do it when we're engaged, when we feel safe, and most of all, when we're drawn to someone. It's the body's way of saying, I like you, I feel connected to you. And it's incredibly hard to fake because it usually happens without conscious awareness. You cross your legs and seconds later, they do the same. You lean on your elbow and they're suddenly matching your position. You touch your face while laughing and they mirror the gesture without thinking. These aren't coincidences, they're signs of rapport, emotional synchronization in real time. It's not just about body language. Listen to how they speak. Over time, they may start picking up your vocabulary. Your slang becomes their slang. Your tone becomes a mirror of their own. You might notice them using phrases you use or mimicking your rhythm and pacing in conversations. It happens gradually, but once you notice it, it becomes impossible to ignore. This mimicry extends to emotional expression as well. If you laugh, they laugh even if the joke wasn't that funny. If you're excited about something, they match your energy. If you're down, their tone shifts to align with yours. They might not know why they're doing it, but it's a form of empathy driven by attraction. It's their nervous system trying to stay in tune with yours. In group settings, mirroring becomes even more noticeable. While others stay in their own energy, this person subtly adjusts to match yours. If you're calm, they become calm. If you're animated, they meet you there. It's like they're subconsciously trying to stay on your frequency because emotionally they already are. One of the most fascinating parts of mirroring is how involuntary it is. The person doing it often doesn't realize they're copying your actions. But the brain's mirror neurons are firing, translating admiration or emotional connection into behavior. It's like their body is saying, I want to be close to you. I want to reflect you. And while people can mirror others out of respect or social bonding, the level of intensity and frequency that happens with a crush is different. It's more focused, more consistent. You'll feel it because it's not just about copying a gesture. It's about alignment, subconscious synchronization, a quiet desire to connect without overstepping. So if someone in your life seems to echo your movements, pick up your mannerisms, or reflect your energy without realizing it, that's not by accident. That's attraction hiding in plain sight. When someone secretly has a crush on you, one of the most telling signs isn't how they treat you, it's how they react when someone else enters the picture. Suddenly, the tone shifts, the questions get sharper, the mood changes. They might not say it outright, but their body language and behavior scream it. They don't like the idea of someone else having your attention. This often shows up as a sudden spike in interest in your love life. Not the casual, friendly kind. The kind that feels a little too curious, a little too persistent. You mention a name and their ears perk up. They ask, who's that? With a light laugh, but their eyes are scanning for clues. Are you too close? Do you like them? Is it serious? It might sound playful on the surface, but there's an edge underneath. Attention, because they're not just being nosy, they're gauging the competition. In some cases, the jealousy leaks out as sarcasm or passive-aggressive remarks. Oh, another date? Must be nice. Or, didn't know you liked that type. It doesn't always sound bitter, but it's rarely neutral. Even if they joke, you can feel the subtle sting behind the words. They're testing the waters, trying to sound unaffected, while quietly hoping it's nothing serious. Sometimes they'll try to downplay the people you're interested in. You mention someone new, and they suddenly have a lot to say. He seems kind of boring. She doesn't seem like your type. That guy? Really? These critiques aren't random. They're rooted in something deeper, insecurity. It's hard for someone with a crush to stay silent when they feel like someone else is taking the spotlight they wish they had. Other times, they overcompensate. They start hyping up your love life, asking about your dates, pretending to be excited, too excited. They laugh too loudly at stories that aren't that funny or encourage you in a way that feels forced. It's like they're trying to seem supportive while quietly hoping the romance fizzles out. Because deep down, they're hoping that person isn't the one. Watch their face when you talk about someone you like. Even if they're smiling, there might be a micro expression of disappointment just for a second. A flicker of discomfort, a quick glance away, a shift in posture. They recover fast, but it's there. Because no matter how good they are at hiding their feelings, jealousy is hard to contain when it's that personal. You'll also notice they might start talking about their own love life more strategically. It's not always real. Sometimes they bring up fake or exaggerated stories to get a reaction from you. It's their way of testing if you feel the same jealousy they're feeling. A silent dance of, do you care the way I care? Jealousy doesn't always wear a dramatic mask. Sometimes it's tucked behind curiosity, hidden in offhand comments, or disguised as protective concern. But if someone seems a little too invested in who you're dating or not dating, that's not random. That's emotion leaking through the cracks. When it comes to hidden feelings, the truth always finds a way to surface, just not always in the ways we expect. A secret crush doesn't announce itself with grand declarations or obvious signs. It lives in the little things, a glance held too long, a detail remembered from weeks ago, a sudden shift in tone when someone else's name comes up. These behaviors mirroring subtle jealousy showing up by accident, awkward friends, and micro-expressions are the emotional fingerprints of attraction. They may try to play it cool to act indifferent, but their subconscious keeps betraying them. Because when someone truly feels something for you, it leaks out in the spaces between the words and the pauses, the reactions, and the effort they don't even realize they're making. If you pay attention, really pay attention, the signs are always there. You just have to be willing to see what's been hiding in plain sight.